And we're back. And we started off talking about some comments. And the Honorable Johnny Horror trying to defend Final Crisis. Another great conversation that we got going had to be with our discussion about the Avengers in the last segments. And DMAR 325 actually tends to be one of our viewers that really gets things going. Sometimes, DMAR, you just take shots at other viewers. And sometimes you make some really great comments. And there's one thing that made me... I had to write this one down because I wanted to talk about it. First, a correction from DMAR, and I don't know if you'll agree with this, Jose. He says, okay, when you really think about it, Marvel event outcomes usually stick. The initiative is still going on as a result of Civil War. Captain America is still dead. Again, another Civil War thing. No More Mutants, still sticking. So that's a result of the House of M event.
Well, they had the first mutant birth, though, in that X-Men crossover last summer.
The first
with the babies that's running around with Cable. So at some point, they're going to go back to mutants, because obviously there's still mutants.
That's true.
Born.
And then there's that whole thing going on right now in X-Men with the mutants from another parallel universe. Warren Ellis is writing that right now in Astonishing X-Men. And evil has won in the Marvel universe as opposed to DC's Final Crisis because Osborn is running things. What did Final Crisis accomplish? Nothing. Even DC's other titles ignored Final Crisis, which is
we've talked about
kind of true. Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
So you guys got to lay off at Marvel on that point. Okay, DMAR.
Never.
You had us, then you lost us. They never. It don't matter. But he does make some valid points there.
He does.
You know, I'm not gonna. I can't just dismiss the fact that other Marvel events have had some events, some sticking events, and although not this one, Agents of Atlas.
The best recap of the last 6 years of Marvel stories ever.
Gorilla Man's continuity catch up, and he basically he goes over the whole. What the events have had. So if you have not read this, read it. It's effing hilarious. But since I'm on DMAR's comments, I do want to make refer to another thing that he says. Because we were really talking about of the Avengers really being Luke Cage and company. Mm-hmm. And DMAR says, I like Luke Cage. If there's one thing Bendis did right is making Luke a complete character and not some stereotype. That is true. He deserves his own book, but it seems like black heroes don't sell, so I'll take what I can get. DMAR's got a point there.
No, he does.
He's got a point.
But you mentioned it, though. Why don't they just give Luke Cage his own book? I bet you if Brian Bendis was writing it, I think that it would do good.
There you go. That's actually a good point.
As long as it's Bendis doing it?
That's a good point. Because Bendis does see, he has a fan following. If he writes something, people will read it. Mm-hmm. And again, and just to say, I don't have any objection to Luke Cage being in the Avengers. In fact, I thought that was a pretty cool inclusion by Bendis when the book first launched as New Avengers.
Right. But the whole point is that it's the Avengers. It's not just Luke Cage.
Right. It's a team book.
Exactly.
I mean, the last time we even talked about what Clint Barton's been going through was way back in that issue that he did with Bendis did with Alex Maleev, where Barton goes looking for Wanda, and Hook finds her in Wundagore or whatever, and ends up sleeping with her, and then after that, we completely forget about what happened to Wanda after that. So then Bendis goes, oh, wait a minute, I've got Luke Cage and Jessica Jones, and that's right, we need to focus back on them again. It should be, the Avengers should focus on the team and not just one particular character. And, if Bendis wrote a Luke Cage book, hey, why not? Why doesn't he write a Luke Cage book? That's what he's turning New Avengers into, quite frankly. It's a new Avengers. Although for a while there, it seemed like the urban Avengers. He was taking the Avengers and making them deal with street crime and everyday things. But even that, they fell off of, so whatever. So, DMAR, I'll give you that. And Black Panther has his own book. You know,
New #1 came out.
new number
this
one,
week.
yeah, and the Falcon actually has been getting quite a bit of play in the Captain America book. So I think black characters are being represented okay in the Marvel universe. You know who's not being represented, and again I'll say it:
Puerto Ricans.
Puerto Ricans, man. Where are the Puerto Rican and Mexican superheroes? White Tiger's done.
Hey, we got Blue Beetle, so I don't know.
Yeah, the DC universe has got some kid who claims to be Mexican, but you know
And
the
it got
kid,
canceled. So.
Yeah, right. Oh, and it just so happened right after Jay Nitz wrote the
All Spanish.
the all Spanish
Yeah.
issue, then it gets canceled. So you know, Demar, I sympathize, but dude, you don't know pain until you know this man's pain. All right. We'll talk a little bit more about some more viewer comments and some books in the next segment. They should rename it Luke Cage and His Family Problems.
I saw that.